In a remote village of Bengal, many years ago, there lived a boy named Rahim. He was not a prince nor a scholar by birth. He was simply the son of a daily wage laborer, poor, unnoticed, and struggling to survive. The village was small, surrounded by paddy fields and narrow, muddy roads. People here lived the same way for generations, working hard from dawn till dusk, dreaming of little, and surviving on even less. Among these villagers was Rahim, a thin, barefoot boy with a torn school bag and a heart full of impossible dreams. Every morning, Rahim walked 3 kilometers to reach the only school in the area. His shirt was faded, his stomach often empty, but his eyes burned with quiet determination. The teachers noticed him. He was always late, yet always present. When asked why he was late, Rahim would quietly say, "Sir, I had to help my mother before coming." His mother worked in other people's homes, washing dishes and cleaning floors. His father worked at construction sites, earning barely enough to feed the family. But one day, something changed. The school announced a competition. The teacher said, "Whoever stands first in the upcoming exam will receive a brand new bicycle." For the village children, it was just a prize. For Rahim, it was a dream. Freedom from walking barefoot through mud. Freedom from exhaustion. That bicycle became his goal. From that day onward, Rahim changed. He spent every evening reading by the weak light of an old kerosene lamp. But soon, even that oil ran out. So he walked to the nearest streetlight by the main road and studied under it every night. People laughed at him. "Poor boy," they said, as if studying will change his life. But Rahim never replied. He simply turned another page. His mother often found him there late at night and whispered, "Rahim, come home. You'll fall sick." He smiled softly and said, "Just a little more, Ma. I'll win this time." Then came the day of the exam. Rahim wrote with focus, using an old pencil so short it barely fit in his hand. He had borrowed books from classmates, memorized every chapter, every question. When the exam ended, he didn't know if he had done well, only that he had given everything. Weeks passed, and then came the result day. The teacher stood before the class, holding a paper in his hand. He smiled and announced, "This year's first place goes to Rahim." The class fell silent for a moment. Then applause erupted. Children clapped, teachers smiled, and Rahim stood frozen, shocked, speechless, tears in his eyes. The teacher walked up to him, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Rahim, you've proved that poverty cannot defeat determination." They handed him the bicycle, shiny, new, and beautiful. For Rahim, it was not just a cycle. It was his first taste of victory, the proof that dreams do come true. That day, he rode home proudly. The villagers gathered around, watching him in awe. His mother stood at the door, tears in her eyes, whispering, "You did it, my son." Years passed. Rahim grew up. He studied harder, won scholarships, and eventually became a teacher himself. And in that same village where he once studied under a streetlight, he built a new school, a place where no child would ever have to study in the dark again. He called it the Light School. And so, the boy who had nothing became the man who gave others everything. His story reminds us that sometimes the greatest victories come not from power or wealth, but from patience, faith, and the courage to never give up. Fade out. Gentle sound of wind and a distant bicycle bell.